It is... I have found it is often beneficial to learn the truths of the other gods, learn what they have to say. The three-faced goddess might guide much of our lives, but to only hear one truth, one perspective, ironically, can leave a man blind. There was something once said of the blind god, that the greatest sin of all is pride. I think I understand more and more what they mean when they say that. Pride does not just hurt you in large ways. It is not merely the egomania that causes treason, but can be small things. Things like not apologizing even when you know you should, because you fear being seen as weak, because you want to protect yourself. In many ways, pride is just a pretty name for fear. We feel pride in something and we fear to lose it. We fear being vulnerable. In a way, you too fear being vulnerable. It is not always easy, Klaus. You see, it is the burden we of the cloth must always face. The reminder every day that the common folk are not as pure as we are, that they will sin, that they will sin a lot. It is up to us to set the example for them, to be the light, to help them out of their darkness. Not to condemn them, but to see the flaw and see the drowning man and reach a hand out to them. You say that Whisper has made mistakes, that he continues to make mistakes. I say you have found a drowning man who needs your hand to guide him.
Oh, I've given him my hand. I've tried, at least. I guess I'm not trying hard enough.
It's not always about that. I believe you, Klaus, but... Well, you've heard the saying, work smarter, not harder. And sometimes it's just not a matter of how hard you work or how smart you work. Sometimes it really is just a matter of patience and of time. Yes, sadly there are people who must be put down for the sake of themselves and others, and that is a tragedy, but we are not the hands that do that, Klaus. We are the hands of mercy, of new chances, of death and life. We guide people's fates. We guide people's fortunes. Don't assume that your words have been completely ignored. Sometimes it takes time. For one who is burdened by sin, it is not a wall that can be knocked down, it is a shelf. A shelf that you place items of goodness and goodwill upon. And time and time again, it adds weight to the shelf of sin, until eventually the shelf breaks. You may not have changed his mind today, you may not have changed his mind tomorrow, but your words may stick with him. They may creep into his thoughts. It is possible, even if he rejected you, that your words, whether he wanted them to or not, still lingered. Do not despair because you do not reach them the first, second, third, or even fourth time.
Klaus just sighs and rubs his temple. I know what you're saying. I'm scared I'll lose my temper. Again.
He
I almost used my voice already.
He walks over to you and places a hand upon his shoulder. You're young, Klaus. And though it may be our responsibility to guide people in the ways of the three-faced goddess, that does not mean we are. We are no more perfect than they are. We can choose to discipline ourselves to be better, but that doesn't mean we're always going to succeed. There are times when you need help, just as you do now. I understand that you have a companion who you are struggling with, but I saw you with your companions that terrible night. I saw the trust you placed in them. Perhaps they can help you. I asked you to be strong because I believe in you and know you can be. I'm not asking you to be alone. I'm not asking you to be an island.
Yeah, Klaus pauses for a second and he just quietly nods. That's right.
And that is what makes you a great man, Klaus. Because no matter what, you try. Here, he hands him the entire plate of brownies. I think you need these more than I do.
Do you want the plate back?
Nah, I hate the design. The butterflies are far too cute. Oh, and whatever you do, don't No, not letting my character say that. Not letting my character say that. Actually, DM, you're not allowed to stop me. It's against the rules. Fuck you and your rules!
The fuck is going on?
He's having a fight with himself.
Well, go separate him!
No! It's entertaining.
He doesn't have the right meds. He can't. Sorry.
I knew he was a schizo.
Do we need to put you in separate rooms?
Don't let your hedgehog eat the. Don't let your hedgehog eat the brownies. They can make him very sick. They might even poison him. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That was my out!
Oh, don't worry. I make sure I will make him something different.
Very good.
And I smirk at Mr. Fluffles. You will get a healthy snack.
And in my head, Mr. Fluffles just looks so dejected.
You're a fantastic owner to Fluffles.
You are super quiet.
Yeah.
I said, you are a fantastic owner to Mr. Fluffles. You truly
Shay is in pain right now.
deserve him as your Okay, we are moving. Is there anything else you want to say, or can we please move on?
Klaus gives a short note, then he pauses to look at the scriptor of the playing card. Can I have that one too. For research.
Yes, of course.
He picks it up, puts it somewhere hidden in his cloaks, makes a short bow, walks out, looks at Kun, stuffs a brownie in his hands. We're going.
Very well.
So, we will fast forward a bit. Before we do that, Whisper. Joe, while that meeting was going on, Lord Sirith, after you had spoken with Vell, had found you and he had asked you if you wished to accompany him on the expedition as well.
I believe I'll tag along.
Mm-hmm. So, the three of you walk into a bar, and you see Lord Sirith sitting at the table. His robe's on as flashy as before. He's wearing street clothes, so he still has that wide-brimmed hat, and he stands up as you approach. Have you all taken care of your personal matters?
I believe so.
Yes.
I went to the bathroom.
And Claus gives him a brownie too.
Thank you. Suddenly he looks down and his eyes widen with surprise. You were studying the text of the blind god.
My master is. He kind of recommended that I'll give it a read.
I see. He taps a symbol on his lapel. I worship the blind god myself. It is his teachings that saved me.
Insert joke about the blind leading the blind.
Do you say
No.
that in character?
Absolutely.
Oh!
Congratulations.
You just had
You are the-
to.
Congratulations. It is now the 475th time that I have heard that joke.
Yeah, Claus just sighs a little. He's like,
Well
Oh,
done.
Master
I thought
Simone
I'd said
mentioned
something
that.
clever.
Okay.
Go ahead, Dogi. I want to hear.
Claus was just gonna mention that the master mentioned being. I forgot. Darn it. I'm sorry. That happens when I get caught off. I just forget what I was saying. Ignore me.
If he comes to you again, please repeat it.
What was it that the Master Simone said about the being blind?
The blind
Led
leading
by
the
the blind.
blind.
No, not that.
Sometimes-
About
That pride is the greatest sin because it can unironically
following
blind.
the teachings of only one god can
Yes,
make you
only
blind.
one god can blind you.
Yeah, that was the thing he was trying to say. There we go.
Sorry.
Yes, Klaus just made a raspberry at you. He made seeds on your raspberry at you. And then he stuffs the brownie in your hands.
You should make that face more. You should make that face more often. It's far more charming than your normal one.
It's like Kun looks over to Whisper. Whisper, do you try to get people to hate you?
Sometimes.
Sorry,
Not a good
my
not
immediate-
a not a good quality.
My immediate response to that was actually more along the lines of, no, I don't need to try. People just seem to hate me naturally. I just like to make fun of it.
And Klaus pauses for a second, takes a deep breath, exhales, and puts on the brightest, happiest, sunniest smile he has ever mastered. Is this better?
Whisper
never
smiles
will
back.
say versus
Loads.
fear. I was kidding.
After the last joke one that you'd said to roll,
Yeah, no. Anyway, moving on. So, here's what we'll be doing. We're going to be going around asking people questions, seeing if they've noticed anything. There are a few areas I've marked out on this map, and we'll start with this area here, and it draws a large circle. There are a few areas I've marked out, homes that overlook reasonably populated areas. The people living there may have noticed. May have noticed things strange. They may have even seen Mira Saber. I have some vague descriptions of Mira that I could use, but I have none of Saber. Would you be able to describe them for me, please? Those of you who have seen him.
Imagine the most terrifying, horrible thing you can imagine, and multiply it by 6.
Klaus jabs
Without the
Whisper in the
hyperbole,
stomach
please.
real quick. It's not hurt. It doesn't hurt, but it's more like a... Stop it.
May I presume that you give descriptions of the two of them to the best of your abilities?
Yes.
It's a bit of a struggle with Mir is reasonably easy. With Saber, it's a bit of a struggle because try as you might, you can't picture any real identifying features from him.
Short brown hair he had, right?
Doesn't exactly narrow it down.
Not much.
Yeah, this will have to do. So, you start talking to people. The first one, you arrive at your first location, and Klaus, Reuben asks if you'd like to talk to this person.
Me?
You are a shaman, aren't you? You are a shaman. I thought you'd be the best person to liaison with the common folk. I can come across as a bit intimidating at times.
Klaus just blinks and looks at Whisper. He's a talky one, though. Oh, wait.
If you,
So is Mir, based on what Whisper said.
Well?
Talky doesn't necessarily mean trustworthy.
oh, is
No, Klaus was more thinking about that if we let Whisper talk, we're gonna be here for a couple hours.
Also, everyone will probably walk away offended.
Yeah, I've got to ask. It's Vell with you guys.
Well, I mean, as far as I know, I didn't go back to Korim after he talked to me in the sword.
I actually thought you had, but cool. Vell gets to tag. Vell
Well,
gets
I mean,
to come along with this
I'm
as well.
fine.
Awesome.
I'm fine with either one.
You probably get to do more if you're with the group than with Korim. No offense, Ash.
No, I'm aware. At the
Okay.
moment, Korim's just going through books at one of 2 libraries and surreptitiously looking up more about the mana forging.
Interesting. Lord Marigetch looks over your shoulder. You have an interest in that as well?
Wait, we just switched over? Okay, I'm lost.
I'm gonna be I'm gonna do a quick thing there because when Ash mentioned that, I thought I'd quickly mention this.
Okay.
Yeah, so quickly mentioning this, yes, Lord Merrick looks over Ash's shoulder and is like, you have an interest in that as well?
Yes, after the golems and the mention of certain individuals in the past and the development of of the technology back on the mainland before we lost contact, it seemed appropriate to actually look into.
I've been studying that for some time myself. Perhaps we could exchange some information for information's later dates.
Indeed.
Anyway, returning back to the... Meanwhile, back at the plot.
Oh no, am I really gonna have to talk with people?
If you would prefer not to, I assume that would be where you would be comfortable. My apologies.